All right, so chapter 2.5 is going to introduce us to our fourth method of moving values. And I mean moving because remember we're getting rid of values with x or y or whatever it might be. But before that, let's make sure we practice our fraction work. And again, I'm going to do it like we would do it for real, which is 4 and 5 meet at 20. Again, you can verify that for yourself. You can pause it and verify it for yourself. But once you find that, we rewrite it with 20 there. We copy down the minus sign. 20 divided by 4 is 5, so it means I multiply this by 5. 20 divided by 5 is 4, which means I multiply this by 4. 15 minus 8 is 7 over 20, which is what we end up with. All right, so again, that's pretty much it. And there's steps in there that you might need to take time on, but again, I'm just not going to reteach it every time because I know that you've either seen it and understand it, or you've seen it and really haven't cared, and there's no reason in me pushing that any further. 2 and 10. Here's the tricky thing about 2 and 10. 2 can actually turn into a 10, which means that our least common denominator is 10. 10 is the same, which means 7 should stay the same. 2 multiplies by 5, so we multiply the 1 by 5. We end up with 7 minus 5, which is 2 over 10. And again, I believe on the computer this is going to work, but just be careful to understand that that's actually 1/5 because both of these could be divided by 2. But again, if you have an issue where you got it right, but you didn't reduce it, or you reduced it, but you shouldn't have, just email it to me and I'll look at it and check it out and fix it for you. Again, it's not that big of a deal, even if they mark you wrong, because this one question is not going to cause you major issues. So far we've learned the following strategic concepts. If a number is being added, subtract it, because the opposite of addition is subtraction. If a number is being subtracted, add it, because the opposite of subtraction is addition. And for the last 2 lessons, we talked about if a number is being multiplied, divide it. Today we're going to learn how to move a number that is being divided. Remember that multiplication and division are opposite operations. And because of this, our new strategy is as follows. If a number is being divided, multiply it. So again, if you see a plus sign, use a minus. If you see a minus sign, use a plus. If you see multiplication, use division. And now, if you see division, use multiplication. That's our 4 rules, and that's the only 4 rules you really need outside of some creativity and experience, which we're going to be having over the next few weeks once we get through this. But again, those are your main ideas. So in much of our work, multiplication has been expressed through parentheses, and today is no different. You're going to show your multiplication on MathXL by putting your value inside of parentheses. So if you're multiplying by 5, that's how we're going to write it. If you're multiplying by 7, that's how we're going to write it. So put the 7 in parentheses, meaning multiplies by 7. So let's get to the work. Looking at this problem here, that's my wall. A over 22 equals 13. What value is with A? Well, the value in the fraction with A is 22. So when we go down here, how do we move a number if A is being divided by 22? We multiply by 22, and that's what you're going to put in each box. Again, multiplying by 22 makes those go away, which means that A comes down. And 13 times 22 would be 220 plus 66 would be 286, I think. Look at that. Actually got it right. Again, I just took 22 times 10, which is 220. I took 22 times 3, which is 66. Added those 2 numbers up to get that answer. Just things you need to practice if you want to learn how to do this stuff. Consider the following equation. What value is with G? So again, the value with G here at the wall, if that's to the right side, then 15 is with G. So now we solve by doing what we're supposed to do. If we want to move this 15, which is with G, we would put parentheses 15, parentheses 15. 13 times 15, I believe, is 195. Yep. Equals G. And again, this represents your first box, your second box, your third box, and your fourth box. So again, just kind of keep that in mind. Make sure you understand that's your 4 steps. I need to get rid of 15, so I multiply by 15 because it's being divided. I multiply these 2 and bring that down. I multiply bring that down as is and finish it all up. You notice that these videos are getting shorter, and the reason they're getting shorter is because we are getting better, or should be getting better at what we're doing at this point, and I don't think it takes forever to go over this. Any questions you have, though, feel free to email and email your question. But again, just make sure if it's a problem that you show me what you did on the problem first. But if it's just a general question, feel free to always email me with those. 10 equals j over 15. The value with j, of course, is 15. So how do I move this 15 if it's being divided? I multiply by 15. 10 times 15 is 150. 15s go away, leaving me with just j. Box 1, box 2, box 3, and box 4 all right there. And then the last one, r over 24 equals 13. Again, the value with r is 24, but it's r divided by 24. And the reason we want to make sure we know that is because if it's r divided by 24, that we want to multiply by 24. Those two things go away. I don't know what 13 times 24 is, though I probably could figure it out, but I won't do it for now. 312. So again, that's all there is to it. That's your new information. Hopefully you were up to speed on everything else. But again, just be sure to take your time with the new work. Again, don't focus so much on finishing. You are working to finish, but your focus should not be on finishing. Focus more on making the steps feel more natural. So what I mean by that is, if you're finishing the homework, but you're having to continuously go back to your notes, you're having to continuously redo a problem because you missed it, that means you're not ready, you're not natural. But when you can get through the problem, like just doing a similar problem, but you can do a similar problem and quickly, not quickly, but smoothly get to your answer, that means you're getting where you need to be. So again, once you get the fourth skill down, we're almost to our final checkpoint. I'm sorry, our first checkpoint. So again, email me with questions so I can assist you. Again, make sure you've got your work in that, and good luck.